Israel right now is engaged in a war with Hamas and in fighting with Hezbollah to the north in Lebanon. What are your feelings toward this situation?
Um, well, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of things that come into play. I mean, like, it's definitely wartime right now. Um, Even before the Hezbollah situation and Israel, there's, a long line of kind of like hatred with Palestine and Israel, which has been going on for almost 100 years because um, back in like the 1940s is when, Israel finally became like a state. So then I, from my perspective, I usually like to think from like a neutral view. So then kind of like from both views, like taking any information that I can and then make my own opinions about that. Um, when in October 7th of last year, when when Israel was first invaded by Hamas, um, I was very pro-Palestine because you have a terrorist organization that invades another country and then goes and kills women and children, right? And then what Israel does in response is to retaliate with military powers. And I'd say this isn't the first time something like this has happened. And there's also been many things that Israel has tried to do to seek peace with Palestine, right? Like in 2006 they left northern Gaza. Like in the 1990s, there's like two or three peace treaties that they tried to do with Gaza or Hamas, anyways. And then even Trump, before his presidency ended, he even tried to help out with the situation with Israel and um, Palestine. But of course, after he went into office, I'm guessing maybe Biden probably didn't pursue any peace talks, and that's kind of what led to October 7th and the whole thing leading up to Israel doing a sort of quote unquote
Yeah,
genocide on Gaza.
we can talk about that.
Yeah,
So you'd say like a a degradation in discourse has kind of led to just people not talking, and that has created such an
yeah,
environment where October 7th could
yeah.
happen.
Well, I mean, definitely, because um, like a lot of things, or a lot of the reasons why things happen is because people don't talk, like or like at least have discussions beforehand, like because like I could see somebody and I could think, oh, I don't like him because he dresses this way, like he looks like this, and then they could be thinking, oh, he doesn't like me because I look like this, I dress this way. But if we never actually talk, we actually never know um, what like we actually are, and we could be like best buds, we just don't know it because
Yeah.
we never talk, right? So then definitely that, and not only that too, but because there's like a deep-seated hatred within Palestine and Israel that has been going on before like 1940s. So then, um, like like if there's never been like an agreement or like a super deep down talk of like we want peace, like we won't bother you, or like we could like even be allies if you just we could give you this, you could give us this, like we could work together. Like I'm not entirely sure if any of those talks were really gone through, but from research that I've done on my own time, whenever I first heard about the stuff going on between the two countries, um, from what I've seen is that Israel would try to come to like a peace treaty or like a ceasefire, and then Hamas would end up breaking that by invading or doing something else to harm the Israelis. So what I think is that the U.S. as of right now, we need to stop, not necessarily stop, but then maybe lessen the supply to like foreign countries. And then what the presidency needs to do is we need to go over there. We need to talk to them, try to find a way to stop the war instead of increasing any more casualties. Because I mean, like look at it not now. It's no longer just Palestine and Israel. It's now Hezbollah and then like even Iran, even if Iran may or may not continue to attack Israel, you know. So then even now too, um, like we are definitely on like the verge of like another world war, or like if it even escalates to that. And for me personally, I am part of the Army National Guard here in Arkansas. I joined last year, and after I graduated college, or not college, high school. Yeah, and then and basically like majority of the times, like if there's a big war, some National Guard units will be usually be deployed first. So then I've heard of deployments within my unit or like another unit within the National Guard in Arkansas that has been deployed before. So then, you know, um, if the war gets like blown to a size where it's like super big, then there's a chance that I might get deployed.
Yeah.
There's a chance that, you know, like some of the people that I've met from basic training that are, you know, across the country right now, they might be deployed over. And, you know, like war is not a good thing. Like nobody wins a war. Like all you get is people dying. Like it's just, you have a lot of like, you know, soldiers, like young kids like me who are like barely 19, 20 going to war. And, you know, that's not really a good thing.
And dying.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can talk about the U.S. involvement militarily with supply and a lot of that stuff. So the United States, up to this point, from like the 1940s on, has usually donated a couple $1 billion to Israel every year. This year, though, we've seen a massive influx in that number, upwards of $26 billion to the Israeli state, and that can be in weapons and just money. Do you think that the U.S. is supplying? Well, we can talk about this. Do you think that the U.S. supplying weapons to Israel has kind of given Israel like free reign to do whatever it wants? Do you think they would be more conservative with their approach if they were using their own budget?
Yeah, definitely. Because, you know, as the U.S. right now, the U.S. has kind of made a name for itself, but, you know, trying to like be the police of the world, like, you know, trying to keep peace in every country like that. But the thing is that whenever there's historically, whenever there's been like, you know, wars or conflicts throughout the world, the U.S. has always been involved, whether it's been directly by sending troops over or by just like supplying smaller countries with like U.S. Military equipment. I mean, like, you know, definitely sending billions of dollars to like foreign countries, and as well as like military rockets, military weapons, vehicles like that. That definitely does enable Israel to kind of be more aggressive in their approach. I mean, you know, of course, like there's always a thing where, you know, Israel does have to get permission from the U.S. to do certain things, just like how kind of like Ukraine has to get permission from the U.S. to do other things as well. But definitely for Israel, like if we weren't supplying them with a lot of like money and materials, they definitely wouldn't like, you know, being like bombing a lot of places in Israel. Like Gaza definitely probably wouldn't have been bombed to the ground. A lot of Palestinians probably wouldn't have lost their lives in that. So definitely, I'd say the U.S. does enable like smaller countries to, you know, do more because we're supplying them with so many resources.
We can go off of that. So Congress has been uncharacteristically unanimous when it comes to Israel and supplying them with aid. Have you ever heard of AIPAC?
AIPAC?
AIPAC.
I might have, but could you remind me more about it?
Yeah, so AIPAC is the American Israel lobby that's funded by Israel, and they are the number one donor for Joe Biden and Republican Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. They go across party lines. They donate to everyone. If you know Jamal Bowman from New York, they recently spent over $10 million to oust him in his seat for the most money ever spent on a congressional campaign.
Yeah.
They wield a ton of power in United States politics. What do you think the role of the Israeli lobby is in supplying Israel with the weapons?
Um, well, based off the information that you've told me, it's um, there's definitely like a mutual relationship. Like the aid pack would definitely help out with like some U.S. stuff, and then in return the U.S. will then try to help out with itself. But I can't really speak up much on it because I haven't really done my
Absolutely.
own research. So
For
that's
sure,
kind
do
of all I
your
have
own
to say for
research
it.
on it. There's a lot of really
Yeah.
interesting numbers, and it's an incredible thing to look into once you get into it. It's a very deep rabbit hole. I think you'd enjoy looking into it. But is there anything else you'd like to share?
Um, well, definitely like one thing that I kind of like to share is that a lot of people don't really try to look things from a neutral standpoint. It's either they take one side or the other, or like this side is wrong, this side is right, or that side is wrong, this side is right. But like and like definitely times like these, anyways, like there's definitely different sides. There's Israel and the U.S., and then there's Gaza, there's Hezbollah, there's Iran, and um, everything sucks, right? Like like all the people dying sucks. All the money the U.S. spends sucks. Like times like these are not good for anybody, and I think like there definitely should be peace talks and like a ceasefire, but at the same time, like if Hamas does continue to stay in power in Palestine, like you kind of have to think how long until the next attack. So it's all like there needs to be peace talks, but there also needs to be like um, other ways too to get rid of this deep-seated
Yeah.
hatred that's been going on for like
How do you stabilize the
years.
region? Really, that's the big
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, that's the reason. Like like there's definitely like a conflict. Like how do we make it so that future conflicts won't happen, right?
Yeah.
Because like yeah, like we could do a ceasefire right now, and that'll definitely save a lot of people from being injured or losing their lives. But
Until
then,
when?
yeah,
It's
exactly.
like that's the question. Yeah, I
'cause,
see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like because like history is just gonna repeat itself because this isn't the first time that there's been like peace treaties or like ceasefire agreements between like countries like these. Like
Yeah.
it's been going on for like years and years. There's been one, and then it's broken, and then years later, there's another one that comes on, and it gets broken again. Like how long until, or how long will it take for people to actually finally agree on like a peace treaty?
Yeah, and we can think about like the resolution of this. Like, there are a couple avenues that are advocated for by all sides. Like, you could say like the hardline Palestinian Hamas position is that the Israelis need to be pushed out.
Yeah.
The hardline Israeli position is that the Palestinians need to leave. There's sort of a middle ground with like a two-state solution. Do you see a two-state solution in where the territory that is Gaza and the West Bank, if those two territories were given sovereignty and able to self-govern, do you think that would make a big difference?
Um, from my personal thoughts, I think a two state solution can work. Um, what it really depends on is the government that is in power, because that's kind of the reason why um, I'd say Palestine has a lot of issues with Israel, is because it's being governed by like a terrorist organization like Hamas. That Hamas's only standpoint is that they want to get rid of all the Jews, and claim Israel as Palestine, right? But then the Israeli government, definitely has tried a two-state solution. Like I was saying, in 2006, they left northern Gaza, and then let the Palestinians and Hamas like occupy all of the West Bank. So then I definitely do think that it can work. There just needs to be like an actual government set in place by the Palestinians that isn't a terrorist organization.
See, all right. Thank you very much.